Oof. Do we have WD-40?
WD-40 is not going to help a plastic chair. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
squeaks. Oh, hello there. Welcome to On the Beat, the podcast that uncovers full-frontal male nudity in cinema. My name is Laura, and I am joined by my co-host, Ryan.
Hello.
Hey, Ryan. This is it.
This is it.
This is number 3. This is the finale of Spooky Penis Month.
Oh, thank God.
What do you mean, thank God? It's not like it really ends. It's just like different types of movies that aren't horror movies.
Oh, so the show continues
This
after
will
this
never
month.
stop.
Oh, okay. As
This
long
is
as the
your
penis
plight
keep,
forever.
Yeah, as long as the dicks keep flowing, we'll keep on rolling.
Roaring.
Yeah. We'll keep rolling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roaring like a werewolf? Do they roar?
I'd say they growl.
Growl.
They're more dog-like, so there's less roar as opposed to like growl and
Okay.
barks, you know.
Well, I guess we'll figure out what kind
I
of
shouldn't have to explain that to you, obviously.
roar or growl that we
Werewolves
get
are dogs.
in the 1981 horror comedy An American Werewolf in London,
Ooh.
directed and written by John Landis.
Ah, Mr. Landis. We have arrived
Landish.
at Landis. No.
Landed
Landish.
on Landis.
We've landed on the Landis.
There we go. Tell me.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, someone somewhere has seen a John Landis movie. I don't think it's.
Hopefully this one.
Yeah, I would have thought so. This is probably one of his best ones.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through his whole filmography, but there's definitely some stuff in here that I particularly like. So the John Landis story. Let's just say when he was quite young, he got into the filmmaking game, like almost immediately.
Right.
So, but he was a bit more of like a kind of, I guess, he played every card. He did everything. He did everything that you could possibly do. I think one of his most notable things, or at least the one thing that he remembers, is that he's stabbed on screen by Toshiro Mifune in a film called Red Sun.
Like actually stabbed?
Oh, like in the film thing.
Oh.
No, it's not like
my
someone
God.
actually died. Yeah, no, it's not like someone actually died.
This guy stabbed him.
Yeah, no, it's not like someone actually died. We're gonna get to that just in a little bit. Don't worry. He'd worked all over all different kind of film industries all over Europe and the rest of the world and things like that. He's quite well traveled.
Okay.
Let's just get into his filmography.
Okay.
So, like I said, he's been working in the industry for a wee while, kind of being the everyman, pretty much, doing all sorts of stuff. In 1973, he gets his directorial debut with Schlock, right?
Okay.
Just kind of like it's kind of what it is, like a schlocky monster movie thing. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like that film very much.
Okay.
But it did get him enough attention and got him on the board for directing Kentucky's Fried Movie in 1977.
I've seen the cover of that film.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I think I have seen that film. It's really funny.
I don't think I have.
I actually have seen that movie. I just remembered.
Okay. So, in 1978, we have the bona fide comedy classic, Animal House.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did I say 75 or 78?
You said 78.
Yeah, I said 78. Okay, so the bona fide classic. It's the first of the Lampoon, the National Lampoon movies.
Is that the very first one?
I think so. But I don't know. I like Animal House because of Toga Toga Toga.
It's a funny movie.
It's a pretty decent movie.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I really like that movie. 1980, we have Blues Brothers, which I know you really like.
I don't like that movie.
And then
I'm not going to explain myself. I just don't think it's funny. I'll try to watch it again, but
I mean, we spoke about really good car chases, and we get to 81 with An American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, I guess he wrote this script when he was like 16.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
He was like super young when he wrote it, and then when he
Okay.
finally got a little bit of clout, he's like, "I'm making this."
Okay.
Definitely making this. So, yeah, and I heard that the executives at Universal wanted basically a team up again of Belushi and Dan Aykroyd for the roles of David and Jack in this movie, which is insane. But he's like, I don't want that. I want different people.
The weirdest thing about
Fresh
that...
faces.
Yeah, the weirdest thing about that is I feel like if Belushi and Aykroyd ended up in that movie loses a lot of its legitimacy, basically.
100%.
Yeah, like it doesn't feel the same.
No.
I mean, bear in mind, I mean, what if John Belushi's playing is it John Naughton? Who's
David Naughton is the actor who plays
Naughton.
David Kessler.
Right, got you. Like if you imagine John Belushi in the transformation scene.
God. His face all stretching out and stuff.
Face all stretching out, his fucking giant hands.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we already kind of said, but David Naughton is the titular American Werewolf, and he plays David Kessler and Griffin Dunne. Dunne? Dunne? I said Dune.
Dune.
I've just got Dune on the brain.
Because Dune's coming out.
Yeah. That'll date this a bit, I guess.
I'm going to say because, that surname I've seen like back home and stuff like that is Dunne.
Dunne.
Yeah,
okay.
It's Dunne.
Well, he plays Jack Goodman.
Okay. Yeah, he's actually really good.
He's fantastic.
Really
and this is a
movie.
very, very early role for him. I think he'd had just smaller roles in 2 other films prior to this.
Yeah, because when was After Hours?
85, I believe.
Okay, so that's after this. Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Got you.
Yeah, 85. And it's funny because I was looking these people up and just trying to grab tidbits, but David Naughton was actually the face of Dr. Pepper in the late 70s.
Well, you showed me some of these commercials.
I wanted to show you the commercials because
Yeah.
I don't think that they went over to the UK, and I doubt that you would have seen them. And also, we were not even twinkles in our parents' eyes.
No.
So, but yeah, it's these I'm a Pepper videos, and you can see them on YouTube. All of them are on there in like classic 70s gear, and he's dancing, and he can dance really well. He has a lovely voice, and he's just walking around singing, I'm a pepper, you're a pepper.
He's a pepper.
You
I
could
mean,
be a pepper
yeah,
too.
he's a performer. That stuff doesn't, I wouldn't have thought translate back home into the UK. Like, certainly, I don't know, this is the 70s, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know.
Like the very late 70s.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that Dr. Pepper fired him after this movie came out.
Oh, shit.
Because he's naked in it.
Oh, well.
Dr. Pepper saw that
it's a family brand.
pepper penis and said, hit the bricks, Jack.
They were like, get the fuck out. Yeah.
You're fired.
Cancel his subscription to the Pepper license.
We're not giving him any more free Dr.
Yeah,
Pepper.
take away his mini fridge. Like,
Forever
done.
stocked mini fridge of Dr. Peppers.
Yeah. Naughton. Not for the doc.
Not anymore.
Yeah, see, they would have. No, I'll come back to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're just
come
going to
back to
shout
me.
it out later.
Yeah, I'm just going to scream it at some point in the middle of the synopsis.
I wish I could say the name of the woman that plays Nurse Alex Price, and it's Jenny. I want to say Agute, but it's not. It's like a gutter. Jenny Agutter. Agutter.
She's a really popular actress back home.
She is, and she's gorgeous.
Yeah, well, I remember. I'm just going to get your sheet, and I'm just going to have a look where the fuck is it?
It's right on the top. Jenny
Agutter.
Agutter.
Probably a gooder. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember her from. I mean, she's in films and stuff. But I remember her from. She was in either Holby City or Casualty. There's a BBC.
Oh, right. Yeah.
BBC like hospital shows. So, yeah. That's what kind of. Because I was like, oh, she's in this one. Because for the most part, it's an all British cast.
Yes.
Pretty much. So at least in that regard, it's incredibly faithful with its casting.
Do you want to know a funny thing about Landis and Jenny? They were both uncredited hospital workers in Sam Raimi's Darkman.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. When did Darkman come out?
And now I'm like, oh God, when did Darkman come out?
83 or something?
90.
Darkman's 1990?
It's 1990. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
So 9 years later.
Wow.
They team up again.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Haven't even gotten to the summary yet. You ready for it?
The synopses.
The synopses from Letterboxd.
It better be a banger.
At least it's shorter than the last one.
Oh, you mean from 28 Days Later?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aye.
2 American tourists in England are attacked by a werewolf that none of the locals will admit exists. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
It's not good.
No, it's not great, but it's basically that is the first 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, after that, there's
werewolf
more.
attack, and then he's visited by...
community ignorance, and then, he becomes effectively a werewolf. A lycanthrope.
He's just struggling with the changes in his body.
Yeah, it's kind of like... it's not as sophisticated as, say, like, ginger snaps.
Oh, boy.
Likening the lycanthrope to, say, like a girl maturing into womanhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tagline is, "Beware the moon." Yeah.
Solid. That's a solid tagline. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, I always find it interesting to research like the origins of these particular myths and stuff. Like we did a little bit for zombies, a little bit for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But this one is definitely the oldest one so far. At least the legend or the myth of the werewolf goes back to like 2100 to 1800 BCE. There was a poem, the Epic of Gilgamesh. And I guess what happened in the story is that there's a man who spurns a potential lover because she had turned a previous lover into a wolf.
Oh.
So that was kind of like the first thing they could kind of pinpoint.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And then it kind of, from there, like things have grown, like in Nordic and Greek texts and stuff, they have like things like that. And
yeah,
lycanthropes and werewolves and stuff, and kind of grew from there. But
let's put it this way, he's like, I've always kind of likened, I don't know, I look at like my, like I look at my, my universal classic monsters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, obviously if they're big enough there, they're obviously got like a relatively huge amount of history behind them in order for them to, like reanimating corpses with Frankenstein and the Mummy and Dracula.
I feel like the youngest one out of all of those would be the Frankenstein's monster.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Still good.
Yeah, still older than me.
Yeah.
So.
That's true. Did you know that they filmed this movie in sequence?
Huh. Okay.
Which is so rare. It was filmed in sequence specifically so that Rick Baker could work on the special effects. Because they knew, like, towards the end of the movie, they were going to have a lot of werewolf stuff. And so he was, like, making this stuff as he went and perfecting it as he went. So to, like, give him more time to work on that stuff.
Yeah, that shit's wild when it all starts to kind of happen.
Oh, yeah.
I think the only other movie I remember recently, because we were listening about it, was John Singleton's Boys in the Hood is shot in sequence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we were listening to Blank Check, that podcast. They were saying that.
With Griffin and David, right? Yeah, they were saying that apparently John Singleton eventually was like, yeah, you can see I'm a better filmmaker at the end of the movie. Like, I didn't know what I was doing in the beginning.
Yeah, he was learning as he went along.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the second half of that movie is like 5-star gold. So
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. So I don't think the first half of that movie is that bad either.
No.
But, yeah, okay. Well, that does make a lot of sense. And the thing is like, when you do watch that movie and you watch... I'm talking about, obviously, American Werewolf now.
Yeah.
Just in case you thought, like, Cuba Gooding Jr. started getting a little bit too hairy. But, yeah, no, like, you can tell, because it's all practical effects in that movie. And it's probably some of the best practical effects in any film of this type of that time. Very convincing stuff. Like, it looks good. Like, it looks convincing enough.
Well, I usually talk about accolades later, but this film won the very first Best Makeup Academy Award.
Huh.
Because they created that category in 1980.
The 80s for the horror genre, just in general, is it's going on leaps and bounds.
Right.
The special effects genre, like the horror genre, and certainly the need for special effects. Because if I think about, you could throw a rock into that very deep ocean of 1980s horror flicks, and you're likely to hit something that you're like, holy fuck, how the shit did they do that?
I mean, even if you just put together the 1980s werewolf movies. I have a list of them. There's a ton, and this isn't even all of them. Wolfen, 1981. The Howling, 1981. Full Moon High, 1981. The Company of Wolves, 1984.
Cool.
Teen Wolf, 1985. Silver Bullet, 1985. Howling 2, 1985. Teen Wolf 2, 1987. Howling 3, 1987.
Fucking Howling movies, Jesus Christ.
And that's not all of them.
No, it's not.
That's a ton. Werewolf crazy in the 80s for some reason. Also, it was The Elephant Man, 1980. People were pissed that The Elephant Man didn't get any recognition for the makeup. So they created this because of The Elephant Man.
All right. Okay.
See, that's my bad for not writing it down, but
That's fine. No, I think that's fine. Yeah, I think I remember reading something about that at some point. Because, like, John Hurt does a really good job in that role.
Yeah.
He's effectively just wearing a mask or a hood the entire time.
The makeup in this movie blows my mind. I love practical effects.
Yeah.
I fucking love practical effects and how visceral they are and how they make you feel. And they're just so real. Like,
well, the thing
Jack in this movie is so gross.
Yeah, he's really,
But he's so good.
It's really funny.
John Landis told him, he's like, when you're dead, you need to just be really happy and be very jovial, be in a good mood, and always be upbeat.
Yeah.
Like, because it's so strange.
Yeah.
You got those flaps hanging off.
Yeah.
Foul.
Yeah, because we'll get to that when we're talking a little bit more about those scenes in particular. But yeah, like, he's been ravaged by this werewolf. And obviously the way he's died, like the way that his body has left this realm is the depiction that he's going to basically portray whilst in limbo, right? So effectively, like, his whole throat is completely exposed, and half of his face is like slopping off of his muscle, and he can't. It's just he's covered in blood, and everything looks very gloopy.
Yeah.
And very wet. And pure, like, obviously over the course of the movie, because we meet Jack 3 times whilst he's in limbo, is that he is actively rotting.
So quickly.
Yeah, very quickly.
The last time we see him, he's a puppet. But that's fairly obvious that it's not him in makeup.
Yes. But I guess, like, this is my one thing about practical effects over say the advent of CG, and I kind of bring this up because I had a conversation with an actress a wee while ago. It was over the conversation about Jaws. Now, say whatever you will about the shark in Jaws, but Jaws is still hands down probably one of the greatest films ever made, let alone the best shark movie ever made.
Yes.
There is something far more believable about seeing something in front of you that is tangible and real and that you can touch.
Yeah, absolutely.
As opposed to seeing something that is occupying a space that's been created using nothing but pixels. And I'll always feel that way, personally.
Yeah, I mean, you can make as many, I don't know, if we talk about shark movies in general, like, we watched The Meg. Remember that?
Uh-huh.
Which is cool. Big shark, super cool, but yeah, it's
just
not
a
real.
Big shark. It's not real. Yeah, you don't really.
It's not practical, so it doesn't give you that same sense of fear.
No, like, I feel like I don't agree with the whole, like, it's CG. It looks like a video game, but it does get a little ropey. I kind of feel like the only time I felt CG was a fantastic marriage of, say, like special effects and like a variety of different techniques all put together.
Come on.
Jurassic Park.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I'm like, oh, he's going to say Jurassic Park. Yeah, perfect.
They continued that. They continued that all the way through the course. Probably not the Jurassic World movies, but they continued that through to Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
Where Stan Winston's just making bigger fucking dinosaurs. But, like, don't come to me being like, oh, I don't believe that T-Rex is real. Because, like, let's be perfectly honest, that fucking thing came crashing through your sunroof. And it was there. Like, that's half of the reason why that film is scary.
That scene with the T-Rex is one of the scariest scenes in a movie.
But let's put it
Other than that one scene in E.T. where he's, like, running through the cornfields and pops up at Elliot, that's the scariest thing I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah, and we're not talking about the...
I'm sorry,
we're not talking about the shanny fucking Spielberg special edition E.T. We're talking about the original theatrical cut where his eyes are not, like, moving erratically.
That E.T. is so scary.
Thanks to the George Lucas workshop.
My parents used to torture me with an E.T. doll at my house when I was a kid. Which, to be fair, if I had kids, I would probably torture and scare them as well, because it's funny.
I would say half of the reason to have children is to torture them, or at least that was my mother's approach to parenthood. But
well, mine were good-natured in at least, but to leave my closet door open just so I could see that fucking doll just sitting in the closet so they're doing it on purpose, and I get it. Good joke, Mom and Dad.
It creates.
I still have nightmares.
Look, it creates a solid foundation for potential neuroses that will occur later in your life. So
all closet doors have to be all the way closed before I go to bed.
Yeah. That's something. Ugh. That's something that we've dealt with. But anyway,
No, it hasn't.
Okay. I mean, I've
maybe
said it
a little
now.
bit.
Yeah,
maybe
I've said it now. So, yeah. So practical effects over your CGI, and I won't hear any different.
Yeah, and you can do a bit of both. You have the technology to do a bit of both. Lord of the Rings did a bit of both. Jurassic Park did a bit of both. But you figure out where to use it, where it could be the most effective. And this movie does it so well. Obviously, we don't have CG
Lord of the
in
Rings.
this movie.
I say Lord of the Rings and Jurassic Park aren't particularly comparable, but I kind of see what you're getting at there.
I didn't say The Hobbit.
No, well, no one says The Hobbit.
No,
so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But yeah, overabundance of CG in a time now. I think like that's what's kind of
we're missing the heart of
now.
Things. I guess maybe we are getting too much on a tangent about it, but I do think that there's quite a bit of heart and soul that goes into making these practical effects, which is why it's so cool that they did this in sequence, because he's like, I'm creating something new. I'm creating something by my own hands that will fucking terrify everybody.
Yeah.
And it works.
There's a reason why the transformation sequence in An American Werewolf in London is still regarded as one of the best. There's still also a reason why The Thing is still regarded as some of the best creature effects that have ever been made, because some of them are relatively quite unfathomable, and you're like, how the fuck did they do that? Same with, like, I'm still every time I see Little Shop of Horrors, I'm still like, how did they do the puppet? Like, I don't really know how that works. Like, I didn't know how that works at all.
The way that it moves is genius.
Yeah, it's like it's animated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. But yeah, before we go too far off,
sorry.
Let's.
You know what I could bring up really quick?
What's that?
Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
I have a little note I forgot to mention that he.
Well, I've got it here as well.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, he loved this movie so much, the effects specifically, that he hired John Landis and most of the crew, at least the special effects crew, to work on Thriller.
Yeah. Well, that's no surprises there.
He told Landis, quote, I want to turn into a monster.
Yes.
Ouch.
That is... Well, hold on. Because there's also the Michael Jackson movie. There's Moonwalker as well, remember, where he turns into a fucking cat or something.
I didn't see that.
You not seen that movie?
I feel like it's hard to find.
I think it's really hard to find. I remember seeing it on video back in the day.
I think I've tried to find it.
Once. Yeah. It's it's a fever dream, if I remember.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I do remember certain things about it. I do think he fucking turns into a cat or something, or he transforms into a panther.
Yeah, he was like obsessed with turning into creatures.
So I may be mixing up one of his music videos, but for the most part, you can basically transpose certain things that they do in American Werewolf, and it's immediately kind of just put into Thriller, like the face paint in the eyes and things on the teeth and stuff like that.
I think Landis said that Thriller was essentially a vehicle for Michael Jackson to turn into a monster. More than anything. Like, it wasn't about the song, wasn't about the music or whatever. He said it was so that he could turn into a monster. That was why he wanted to do it.
MJ had that kind of money. I mean, he'd also... Michael Jackson was the sort of person who, like, if someone said anything bad about him, he... Like, I think it was fucking Slim Shady. I think Eminem said something about Michael Jackson.
Oh.
So to get him back, Michael Jackson bought the fucking record company that held on to Eminem's music.
Really?
Yeah. So he owned all of Eminem's music for a time until obviously he died. And
that is a killer move.
I mean,
I don't want to say too much about Michael Jackson.
Shrewd. No.
As a person.
No, we're not going to.
But that is...
But the thing is, like, and the thing I'll say about Michael Jackson, we'll close this up, is that whatever you think about Michael Jackson, and we all have opinions, and I don't think we should ever feel like we should defend anything that has ever come up about Michael Jackson. But I think Dave Chappelle said it best when he said he made Thriller.
I don't even know where I want to start. I really like the beginning of the movie. Mm-hmm. I love the slaughtered lamb. Just, I want that pub sign. It's so cool. And just walking into that pub reminded me of, like, walking into shady pubs in Scotland.
Yes.
And how everyone, like the door creaks, everyone stops talking, turns and stares at you.
Yeah.
Like you're a freak of nature. And I know that feeling. I've had that feeling.
Yeah,
I've had that experience.
Yeah, you don't belong there.
Yes, why are you here? And it's like hit the nail on the head with that one, and they're two very obvious looking Americans.
Yeah.
John Landis said that he put them in those puffer jackets.
Yes.
Because he wanted them to look kind of alien, like astronauts. So the pub wall has a pentagram on it. And this guy's telling this hilarious story about people jumping out of planes. And Jack is like, what is this pentagram on the wall? And everyone gets really upset and tells him to get the fuck out of the pub.
Well, pretty much, yeah, he says that, and then he misses his dart, and he's like, I've never missed the dartboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, they ask them to leave. Landlady's like, don't let him go outside. You can't let him go outside. It's like, it's not a problem anymore, love. And then they just... Because basically, there's a beast trolling the hills of the moors, pretty much. And the thing is like, this isn't... There's been plenty of, like big cat sightings, like big animal sightings on the moors for decades. Like, there's usually, like, there's big cats of the moor. Remember that? That story's come up, like, fucking countless times in the news where they're like,
my God.
Big cat sighting on the moors. And it's like, is that a fucking panther? Like, what is this? What's that?
That's cool.
Yeah, that's always been a thing.
That's always been
a thing. Yeah. So, yeah, supposedly there's wild cat. There's, like, wild cats and big cats, like, roaming around on the moors. So, like, when they say that, I'm like, well... It's not two things. I mean, let's put it this way: like everything that's kind of happened, and we're looking at it, it's all very much a kind of parody. And certainly, all of the characters that we meet, let's see who are English, are pretty much like parodies, like parodied characters.
Yeah.
We're dealing more in the comedy horror realm than anything else for the most part. So yeah, they end up out in the fucking rain, just wandering around the moors, like, late at night.
Yeah, and the only things that have been repeatedly told to them are stay off the moors.
Yeah.
Keep to the roads.
Yeah.
They have been told this information countless times.
Yeah.
They end up on the moors.
Yeah.
Oops.
Well, I mean, it's the way it happens.
And then in the distance you hear, like,
Yeah. I
can't
mean, this
do
is
a
script.
growl.
This is script writing 101. Is like warn them enough up until the point where, oh fuck, the warnings didn't work.
Immediately, we have an issue.
Yeah. But I mean, it's funny. Like the thing is, it's like it is scary, and there's some jump scares and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's like you just hear this like constant growling.
And they keep turning around, like we're walking, and they're just running away.
Yeah.
You know, David trips. Jack tries to help him up, and then gets full on attacked.
Gets mauled, covered in blood, his fucking throat ripped out.
I love this part. Because Jack's on the ground getting his throat torn apart.
Yeah.
David books it.
He runs
As fast as he can.
Running.
Jack's on the ground screaming, "Help, David! Help! Jesus Christ, help me!" And David's just running as fast as he can. And then all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, Jack!" Like he just remembered that his friend is getting torn the fuck apart. And he turns around and runs back.
Yeah.
And, you know, just at the moment where he's about to get murdered, I think he gets slashed in the face and chest.
Yeah.
By the werewolf, and
Well, the locals show up with guns and
yeah.
stuff, and they murder the beast that then reverts back to its human form.
I wonder about that because through this movie, you never see the reverse. You know, you never see them turning from a werewolf into a man again.
Probably Rick Baker was like, "Look, I'll do them turning into the wolf. I'm not doing it."
And you
in
could
reverse.
just reverse the footage, right?
You could if you're a cheap ass, I guess.
Oh.
I guess like if you
All
want
right,
to.
fair enough.
But you don't.
But it makes me think: is it just like you snap your fingers? I can't snap right now, but
maybe in another kind of film, like maybe in a more of a straight horror, like that would probably work.
you just see the hair get sucked back in.
Well, the thing is, like they play that up for comedy effect, though, whereas like he's out as a wolf, obviously doing the werewolf things and like tearing people apart and stuff like that, and the next thing you know, he's waking up in a cage with like a bunch of other normal wolves.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, hello.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, so, you know, there are reasons for it. Plus, this film's only, like, 97 minutes or something?
Yeah.
It's actually super short. Like, it's very respectful of your time. And
I love that.
You know, yeah, every single scene's, like, pretty much bang on. It's pretty good.
Well, David ends up in the hospital.
Yeah, David's rescued, obviously. He ends up in the hospital. He's traumatized, obviously, by the fact that, you know, Jack's dead. But he's having horrible dreams. And these dreams are, like, really cool. Like, these kind of dream sequences are really cool. Like, he's running around in the woods, and then he, like, fucking attacks a deer and rips its head off and starts chewing on its flesh. And then there's the bit with the Nazi wolves. They're like...
Yeah. That straight up kicked the door in.
Kick the door in, they murdered this entire family. They've got, like, machine guns and stuff and just fucking absolutely total this family.
That's so wild.
Yeah. They set the whole place on fire. Yeah, there's little glimpses.
Because he's naked a lot of this film.
Yeah.
He doesn't have clothes on that much. It's either a dream sequence or just post-transformation or
it's kind of like it's
sexy times.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I mean, if you've ripped through your clothing because your body's transforming into something completely inhuman for the most part. That's the thing. Like, at least with this one, like they fully commit. Unlike, say, the Hulk, where obviously he's wearing like
really
tiny
stretchy
little shorts that are super stretchy when he turns into the Hulk, and then shrink back to normal size when he turns back to Bruce Banner normally.
That fabulous elastic.
Yeah, and you're like, wow.
I don't have that many notes. I mean, I love when Jack comes in and David's been having those dreams where he starts to not understand if he's sleeping or he's awake.
No. Well, he starts having dreams within dreams, kind of like Inception.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like, and then he's obviously developing a relationship with his nurse, which is
sexy.
Well, I was going to say the character's name.
Oh.
Yeah. That'll help people. Alex. So that's the Jenny Agutter.
Yeah.
Jenny Agutter role.
She's just very pretty.
Yeah, she's good. I mean, she's pretty good in the movie.
There's a shower scene in this movie, and I was like, ooh, a shower scene, and it is so lame.
Well, they do film sex, is what I call it.
Yeah, we're just like slowly rubbing each other.
Yeah, do stuff that like you don't normally do.
No.
So a lot of rubbing and rolling around.
Like, you have a first time sexual encounter with someone, usually it's not romantic.
Sometimes a bit stilted, yeah. You're trying to figure things
fast.
out. Yeah.
You're fumbling around. You know, it's
like you've gotten a job
quite...
for the first time, and you've got a console in front of you, and it's covered in all these buttons, and you're just trying to figure out which ones work. That's kind of it.
Very frenzied, I would say. So this one's a little bit different. But, you know, what do you think is better, the shower scene in American Werewolf in London or the shower scene from Color of Night?
I think Color of Night scene's probably better.
Yeah.
The old school feeling. The old school feeling from an American Werewolf in London is the thing that I'm kind of just like... It's not that no one kisses someone under the shower head.
No.
You know what I mean? Because, like, for one, like, it ends up getting very difficult to breathe.
It sure does.
And then you also get all that water in your mouth.
In your eyes, too, so you can't open your eyes.
No. And then when you do open your eyes, you're just kind of squinting a bit, and it's like...
trying to rub your eyes and just like...
Yeah. Because, like, you know...
Trying to get water out of your mouth.
Got to keep your head in the game. You can't be like getting distracted by drowning. That's not going to help you.
They also had to build...
Keep a stiff one.
They had to build a shower for this.
They go to bed. Like, he gets up. David gets up. He has, like, the quickest piss ever.
It does.
Yeah, it's like a 2-second piss.
Do you remember that scene in Scott Pilgrim where he's got the pee bar and it's like a really full pee bar and then he goes to whiz and the pee bar goes down, but it's a super fast pee, just like in this movie.
Oh, okay.
It's funny. It's a joke pee.
That's fine. I mean, I felt like the one in American Werewolf was strangely short.
Yeah, I wonder if it was meant to be a joke or something.
Yeah, if you're so desperate for the toilet and you go to the toilet and that's what comes out, I'd be like, I don't know, I've maybe got a urinary tract infection. I may have to go to my doctor. Like, because there should be more coming out.
He didn't even shake.
No, well, he's not wearing any bottoms either.
No.
He didn't shake, so he's just going to dribble.
Pee all over his legs.
Over his legs. He drags himself into the hallway, you know?
Yeah.
Because Jack turns up again, obviously, at that point.
Yeah.
You know? Further, becoming a rotting mess. This very quickly kind of moves into, obviously, the transformation scene.
Yeah, because he only has, I think, when he leaves the hospital, the full moon is the night after that. So he has the one night with Alex that's nice and sexy, and then the very next night. And he keeps getting warned by Jack. Jack keeps telling him, you got to kill yourself, man. It's the only way I have to break the werewolf's curse in order to not be in ghost limbo, ghost zombie limbo. So he doesn't realize that he is actually going to turn into a werewolf.
Yes.
So, yeah, he kind of waits around all day, probably terrified of what's going to happen. And Alex is at work, and he's at her flat. And, yeah, this scene is wild.
Pretty much he transforms into the wolf. And, yeah, there's no point talking to anybody anymore. Like, you need to go watch this movie. Like, there's no point in you fucking... Well, no, listen to this. Like, continue to listen, because we're still going to get to this. We still have to get to the dig scene and everything. But he transforms into a wolf, and this is when, obviously, he starts to murder people.
Chaos ensues.
Every
little interaction, almost every interaction he has with a human before he murders them is very funny.
Yeah.
People are wandering around... like outside a friend's house, they're going to a dinner party, and they're like, oh, let's go up and scare them. And they're kind of like sneaking through the woods, and then boom, shit, werewolf.
And I guess like the only kind of other thing of note, like during this sequence is, well, he kills 3 homeless people. And then there's the sequence in the tube, like the tube station.
That's a horrifying scene.
That scene's really cool. And there's a lot of Steadicam stuff in that. I mean, certainly if we think about like the advent of the Steadicam, because Garrett Brown was the person who invented the Steadicam. For the most part, we'd seen it in Bound for Glory. Rocky was another big user. So basically, like, anyone who's not familiar with the Steadicam is basically it smooths out handheld movements in your camera, pretty much.
Okay, cool.
And obviously by this point...
So it's like a skateboard, and you just roll it around on the ground?
No, it's like a double... Anyway.
In the
Well,
London
he says
Zoo.
the guy in the subway like can hear the growling, and he's like, I can let you know this wound isn't the least bit amusing.
Oh.
But there's that great shot where he's like, it's looking down the escalator, and you just see, obviously, because there's the archway, in fact, you just see the prowling, like just a glimpse of the prowling wolf, like come into view. just before it cuts away, and I always liked that. I always thought that was really cool. He wakes up in the zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wakes up in the wolf enclosure.
Of course he does.
Why not?
Of course he does. He fucking bargains some like balloons off this kid.
Well, also when he was in the wolf enclosure, they only did one take of that. Because
oh, wow, okay.
Naughton was like, I'm not going in there again. Do it once. And
Are
it'll
they
be
real
the one.
wolves?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They had trainers and everything there, and
I guess, yeah, maybe
but
it's a little bit worrying.
he was not interested in staying in there or doing several takes of that.
No.
He just said, please, we'll do this once.
Well, you see his dick.
Yes, you
see his
do.
dick at
Well,
this point as
it
well.
takes a little bit of time because he wakes up naked.
Yeah.
And he's running through the zoo to try to find something to cover up his junk. He's got his hands over it.
Yeah.
And he's running from tree to tree.
This is effectively, this zoo sequence is effectively the dick scene.
Yes.
For the most part.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we do get the snippets. You get a little bit of a snippet when he is transforming. And then, if I can go back to that for a second, it's kind of funny because when he as he was turning into that werewolf,
yes.
I go, oh, are we going to see more of his dick? And his dick essentially disappears.
Yeah, like sinks into his body.
Yeah, it just sucks it back up. Like there's no penis whatsoever.
Well, kind of like a dog. Like a dog dick.
Gross.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's kind of just how that
Well, I mean, he is turning into, like, a dog.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. As we've pointed out before, wolves are dogs.
Right. They're not roar. Yeah. They're growl.
They're growl, yes.
Growl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking hell.
So, he's running from tree to tree, and there's one point where he gets out, runs behind this other tree, and you see his dick.
Yeah, it's just before he goes from tree to tree, and it's just before he gets to this other tree.
Yeah.
He lets his hands go.
Yep, freedom.
To touch the tree. And then it just it dangles, and then he's hidden behind the tree again.
Dangles, flops, back behind the tree.
It's not something that we can kind of really... Let's just say, again, this film is playing particularly for laughs, so I don't have much else to say other than the fact that they do not skimp out because, as much as he's trying to cover himself up, there's only so much he can do. And he is 100% naked.
Yes.
They don't pussy out, so to speak.
No.
On the fact that he finds a rag and puts it around himself. It's kind of he's in the event of changing into this creature, he's ripped his clothing off and...
Oh, yeah. Completely stark naked.
Yeah, completely naked.
There was something that I'd read, and I don't know how true this is, but there's a line earlier in the movie when Alex is talking to a nurse friend of hers, and the nurse friend goes, "Oh, I think he's Jewish," and...
Yeah.
Alex is like, how would you know that? And the other nurse goes, well, I took a peek. And so, what she's alluding to is that he's circumcised. And Alex said
I remember that scene in particular. The doctor comes in and basically turns to that nurse and goes, do you have any use or value in this hospital at all? Basically tells her to leave, to go do something else.
Well, she said about, he might be Jewish.
No, because he doesn't look circumcised when we see his dick. No,
and so there was something that I'd read where John Landis was saying that he had to kind of avoid getting a full-on bigger shot of his penis because of that line about him being Jewish. I mean, they could have cut it out, but it was a funny line. But yeah, he's apparently not circumcised.
Yeah, the nurse could have said anything, really. I mean, to kind of just...
But I guess if she saw an uncircumcised penis, there would be nothing of note.
No, not really.
You wouldn't have any comments.
No, the joke technically still works. You just have to maybe reword it slightly.
Yeah.
Where it's still kind of this nasty looking chubby nurse has fucking decided to take a peek at her.
She's not.
Take a peek at one of the patient's dicks. I don't care. It's fucking sleazy and skeezy.
She's the kind of person that would tear the blanket off of a Cillian Murphy and leave him lying on a bed all alone, totally nude.
All right. Then she should probably
Maybe
be
it was
fired.
the same hospital.
Maybe it was the same hospital.
Filthy nurse.
during nurses.
That dick scene comes in at an hour, 11 minutes, and 1 second.
Wow, there you go.
To the T.
Mm-hmm. Because immediately what follows this is a naked American man taking a young boy's balloons.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I love that part so much. He's sitting behind a bush, crouched behind a bush. You can't see him.
No.
And there's this little schoolboy with a bunch of balloons, and he's like, "Hey, kid, come over here." Kid just shakes his head no. He's like, "Come over here, I'll give you £1." Shakes his head no. He's like, I'll give you £2. The little boy goes over to the bush. And what does he say? He's like, who are you? I don't know who you are. And David says, "Oh, I'm the balloon thief."
Yeah.
And the little boy goes, "If you're a thief, why are you offering me £2?
Yeah. We'll wrap it up nice and fast because,
Why not?
We get to the porno theater and he basically meets Jack for the final time, but he meets all of the victims from his first...
his escapades.
And they're all kind of like discussing in what way should Dave kill himself.
Yeah. Oh, you should get a gun.
Yeah. Drowning.
Put it right in your mouth.
Yeah.
Electrocution.
Yeah.
It was funny. Car crash. Jump off a cliff.
It's like strangulation. It's like, no, he might hurt himself. He's like, I don't care if he hurts himself. He deserves it. It's like, right, okay. But yeah, no, they're watching a porno called See You Next Wednesday.
They are.
Which is obviously a in-joke. A John Landis in-joke.
Yeah.
Because I think you initially thought it was See You Next Tuesday.
I did.
Which is definitely something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm assuming
I've heard that one before, and when we were watching it, I was like, oh shit, wait, no, it's Wednesday. So what does that mean?
Well, I'm assuming it's a play on the See You Next Tuesday.
I actually know why.
Oh, do you?
It's not what you think.
Oh, okay.
So the in-joke for this is that he uses this as the title of a movie within his movies, and it's always a different
kind of
movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for this one was a porno, and this is actually the first thing that they shot for this film.
Oh, okay.
The first thing they shot for this film was a porno.
Okay.
But it's actually a reference from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was the last thing that Frank Poole's father said during the video letter from his parents.
Oh.
He said, "See you next Wednesday."
Okay. I can honestly say, and I don't know if this is a popular opinion or not. I've probably only seen 2001 all the way through like once.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mine's not that many more than you. I've maybe seen it twice.
No.
So.
But he meets all these victims there, and then the full moon comes again. He turns into a wolf, and then all hell breaks loose, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Cop stumbles on him in the theater, like chewing on the innards of one of the patrons of the porno theater. He bursts out of the porno theater, rips off the fucking head of the inspector.
Pops right off,
falls onto the bonnet of the car, rolls all over the ground. The bus crashes, another couple of cars crash, someone falls out of the bus, gets run over by a Volkswagen. Like, it's absolute carnage. So many people dead, and they chase him down an alleyway, and I think Alex gets to see him in his horrible state one last time.
Yeah, because he tells her that he loves her before he runs away and turns into a werewolf.
Yeah.
And so this is her time to tell him that she loves him.
Yeah.
He said at one point in the movie, "Oh, only someone that loves you can kill you if you're a werewolf," which I don't know what sense that makes, even though she doesn't.
That's also wrong because, the people unless the villagers loved the person who was the wolf in the beginning of the movie.
I have an issue with that anyway, but
overall, she doesn't kill the wolf.
No, she does not.
At the end, no, because there's an armed guard. Like, they come in and just shoot the fuck out of him. I think it's a really funny ending because it just it's her crying, sobbing uncontrollably, and it's just a shot of his body, and then it immediately just cuts out, and it's the credits.
To a very upbeat version of Blue Moon.
Yeah. One of my things about John Landis, and this kind of turns into more of a personal story for me.
Oh dear.
But I don't know if this is true. Could be a rumor. I always thought it was true because I read it somewhere.
Okay.
But he got his start working in porno.
Huh.
Yeah, so he wasn't in front of camera, but he was certainly one of the people behind camera working in porno, or at least that's what I thought he was. And this pertains to a particular story to me because I went to film school, funnily enough.
Yes.
And I came out of film school and I applied for jobs when I was going to that. And I ended up sending an email, a job application to a job that was going, and so I applied for this job for like cameraman, and I got the email up here. And obviously, keeping things kind of on the hush hush. I'm not even going to name the production company name or anything like that, but just to kind of go back around into the John Landis thing, my reply to them was, "Look, it worked for John Landis. It should probably work for me." And I never got a reply back.
Really?
No, I never got a reply back.
You were like, I might be interested in this, and they didn't say anything.
I came back with them with the same level of witticism that I felt like the email they'd sent me had also kind of illustrated.
Wow.
Also, this was back in 2008, so the girl I was with at the time was like, "How am I supposed to explain that to my parents?" And it's like, well, I mean, there's the one thing you could do. Just don't explain it to your parents.
Yeah, why?
Yeah. But, I mean, it never came to be. But, yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, so for whatever reason, that always stuck in my head. And every time I hear the name John Landis, I'm like, I remember sending that email to that sleazy company that wouldn't tell us what it was. Anyway.
Did you know that in 2017, John Landis' son, Max Landis, tweeted on the Twitter that he had finished an initial draft of a remake of An American Werewolf in London?
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already got the trailer out for the new Home Alone movie.
They do.
And I couldn't be any less fucking plussed about it.
I didn't finish the trailer, but it's a really cute little English boy, and I think it's going to be something I'm going to want to watch. Just be warned, I will watch this movie.
That's cool. I mean, the cinema's 10 minutes down the road. Like, I mean, I can quite easily just stay here and
just stay here. Okay.
Like, talk to the dog or something.
Well,
it looks like fucking horse shit. What are you talking about?
The thing about Max Landis remaking this film, it came into some trouble, as some people may know, because Max Landis that same year was accused of intense sexual assault and like rape allegations. And I think as of 2019, reports have come in from like at least 8 different women. What wild things that they've said that he's done. And
whatever it is, I mean,
the point, what you can read the women's.
Well, the thing is, I didn't know about any of this.
You didn't know that?
No. To be fair, I don't really read much of the news because the news is a fucking hellscape.
Well, you also don't like him, so.
No, I'm trying to like think about who he is and what he's been in and like what I would recognize. But whenever I hear Max Landis, it just kind of makes my fucking skin crawl.
Why? Because he's a little rich boy?
Probably.
Entitled?
Well, yeah. I mean, he is probably entitled. I mean, try and remind me. I'm pretty sure that I've seen stuff that he's been in and I've just been like, fuck. But remind me, because I've probably just blocked it out of my mind. Oh,
he did a film that you really like called Mr. Right, starring Sam Rockwell.
Did he make that movie?
Yeah.
Mr. Right. Oh, yeah. Because I remember my review for that. It was a 2-word review.
He wrote it. Oh, no, he produced it.
He produced it. Well, I remember it was called Mr. Right.
And he wrote it.
Yeah, my review was Mr. Right, Mr. Shite. It's one of the fucking worst things I've ever seen in my puff. Absolute pish. But, I mean, he's not the only Landis who's landed himself in some sort of trouble with the law.
Oh.
This is the Twilight Zone incident, right? And everybody's probably aware of this. It's kind of the blueprint for, when ego,
workplace safety,
and artistic vision begin to cloud like your judgment. But yeah, we're talking about the Twilight Zone incident. And
I did not know about this until you told me.
I've known about it for years.
Okay.
It's where that the phrase comes from. Just bring the helicopter lower comes down to, and it covers all sorts of bases. We're pretty much like, just because you think it's going to work for the shot, you don't have to sacrifice people's safety for it. And certainly in the case of this, Vic Morrow, who was the father of Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yes.
Right. And then there was also 2 young actors, ages of 6 and 7. They were killed on set because a helicopter crashed on top of them. And basically, like, the way that they'd predicted it, or at least, like, kind of what they figured out in court, was that it was due to mistimed pyrotechnics because the helicopter was too low, because Landis wanted the helicopter low so it would fit in frame. Pyrotechnics goes off, whatever else fucks with the helicopter. Helicopter basically crashes. You can see the footage of what actually happened because it ended up in the public domain because it went into court.
Wow.
And also you can see footage of like John Landis and fucking Steven Spielberg in court, obviously answering to these allegations. But he was charged with involuntary manslaughter along with 3 other people.
Wow.
And you just see the helicopter come down, and basically like these three actors just disappear. They just like look like they're vaporized.
Whoa,
As
okay.
the helicopter just kind of comes down, and that's it. They're gone. Like they're gone.
Crazy.
So yeah, just because they wanted the helicopter lower.
That's very scary.
Yeah, it's very scary.
Helicopters are scary in general.
No film on Earth, no project on Earth is worth going to court or getting people killed over. And
especially getting people killed.
Either
I know
way,
court's a little bit of a hassle, but
well, no one needs to die, but
No.
certainly you don't have to spend your life in litigation over a film or anything that you're making. It's not worth it.
yeah.
It's really not worth it.
So, Ryan, would you recommend this film?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's up there as like one of the top horror films of all time. I'd also say it's probably one of the best horror comedies of all time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's up there. It's up there.
What would you rate the film?
So I gave it 4. I think before I gave it 5. Yeah, I don't know, like I kind of swing between those two, but it'd never be lower than a 4 ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that film's really good. Really, really good.
I recently lowered my score from a 5 to a 4.5, and I don't know if it's just because we were watching this, as a job.
I guess that's the main issue. Is it
because I'm breaking it down in my head rather than just like enjoying it for what it is? But this movie is funny.
Diminishing respect for the things that we tend to enjoy because we're being very analytical about it.
Which sucks because maybe I should just, out of respect, put it back to a 5.
Yeah.
But I think 4.5 is a really good score. I love this movie. It's funny.
Yeah.
It is scary. It's gross. It's got everything. It's got a dick. Love that.
Does have a dick.
Love that.
Yeah.
And from what I've researched, this is so far the only dick movie John Landis has made. I don't think he has...
That's surprising. I thought there would have been a dick in Animal House, but there's not, I don't think.
No, from what I've looked at and what, I have a bounty of penis movie knowledge, and I don't, if anyone knows of any, I don't. I think this is the only one.
I don't know, the Burke and Hare movie maybe with Simon Pegg.
Like a corpse? They'd probably be on a corpse.
Yeah, it was, what do they call that? It's like angels. It's like when you get a death erection. What's it called?
What?
Yeah. Hold on. You keep on talking. I'm going to see if I can find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what a death erection is called. Well, like,
angel lust. That's what they call it. Angel lust.
Like from Clerks?
No. That was just something I remember.
No. But I'm saying like that also happened in Clerks.
It did happen in Clerks. But I'm talking about like your death erection. Yeah. He had an erection in Clerks because he was masturbating in the toilet and he died and he started the erection.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, they call it angel lust.
That's weird. Thank you for that. I did not know.
Hey, look. Every day's school day.
And what would be your visibility context scores for that dick?
Probably 2.5. It's very brief, and it's also a little bit further away, so it's probably not as visible. But the thing is, it's visible enough to tell you he's not circumcised, so...
That's true.
You know.
Bless him.
Yeah. Just means one of the jokes doesn't land particularly well that we told earlier on from the horrible, sleazy nurse.
She's not that bad.
Bad enough.
I gave it 3, and that's a fairly generous score. It's probably more on par with what you said at 2.5 because it's far away. But we do get sneaky glances earlier in the movie as well, which is rare. I don't think that happens very often where you get a couple and you go, oh, did I see it? Did I see it?
Yeah.
You know, so that's cool. I'll keep it at a 3 for now.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a problem.
No.
Is there anything we might have missed? Anything you wanted to bring up that you maybe didn't get to chat about?
No, I wasn't going to allow this episode to end without me bringing out the Twilight Zone thing. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, I was there's probably never anything. What do you mean it's a good one? It's
a good story. It's a fucking terrible story,
but it's a tragic story.
It's very interesting. I mean, workplace...
We'll just leave it there, yeah. Workplace hazards.
Injuries. Okay.
Yeah,
anyway.
there's plenty of stories out there. People dying on set for no particular reason whatsoever. I would say Brandon Lee's another one. So
that is, yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. Anyway.
Love The Crow.
Yeah, like that film's all right.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That film's all right. Anyway.
Well, thanks for being here with me, Ryan.
Yes.
And everybody, if you have any questions, if you know of any more John Landis movies that have a dick in it, please send us a message on Instagram at onthebeat, BITTE. And I haven't posted on Twitter in a while. Maybe I need to do that. But yeah, check out our Instagram and make sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this.
Yeah.
It's greatly appreciated. And tell your friends. Because we like friends. And we like your friends. Do we?
Depends.
I think we do. If they listen, I like them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of have a slightly stricter vetting system than you
Everyone
do.
is welcome in my book.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to shake your hand.
Well, coming to you from the Slaughtered Lamb, remember to stay off the moors. Beware the moon.
Beware the moon.
And
stay off the moors in general.
Yeah, it's really squishy.
Squishy, it's wet.
Make sure you wear your wellies.
Yeah, it's also cold. Thus concludes our Halloween. This is our first Halloween.
Yeah, happy Halloween, everybody.
Yeah.
Eat that candy.
Yeah.
Candy.
Eat that candy.
And enjoy. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
Yeah.
Oh, did I say I've been Laura? Well, you know who I am.
Well, but then I'm Ryan.
You're Ryan, and I'm
Ryan. Don't forget me.
Never.
All right.
Bye.
Get out of here.
Oh.